Hello and welcome to the WIHS Journal Public Affairs program. I'm Jerry Williams. Join me now for part 2 of the Stop the Gun Violence gathering that took place at the First Cathedral. That's happening now on the WIHS Journal. It's news and public affairs.
My name is Tim Baker. I own a business over here in Simsbury, and I met the Archbishop through my role as president of the Granby Simsbury Chamber of Commerce. I do believe this is a really important issue. The mental health piece of it that you addressed earlier is near and dear to my heart. I won't share what I went through with my son a couple of years ago, but it's an extremely important component to all of this. And so as the president of the chamber, as an owner of a business here, I'm going to do everything I can to support this effort. I want to thank you, Archbishop, for hosting us here in your church, for Pastor, everything that you've done for us as well, for all the great words that I heard today. I am going to be, I just wanted to make sure I introduced myself because I'm going to be helping Pastor shake everybody's wallets out of their pants. So raising the right resources and funds for this is going to be really important. So you'll be hearing from both of us, and thank you all for coming today.
Two people I want to recognize right now that will come up and offer their thoughts and their blessings are Rabbi Lazowski and Rabbi David Small. So can you both come up at the same time, please?
First and foremost, I want to tell you that I dedicated this church. The first shovel that was digged in this ground, I was there. And I gave the blessing to this church. I gave the blessing to this church, and take a look what became. It was a piece of ground. Now there's 10,000 members here. Thanks to Bailey. I just want to tell you, when I know him, he was not the archbishop. He was not even a bishop. Take a look. When I know them, the children wasn't even born. Take a look now. It's a pleasure to be here. Now let's get to the idea what I would like to talk to you. We are experiencing certain misunderstanding in the community which we are living. In a democratic community, peaceful coexistence is a must. In order to live in friendship, we have a mission: to be united and not to have fear or run away from the obligation as Americans. We must respect each other. Let us learn from the prophet Jonah. In order to save a community, he ran, and God punished him for avoiding the responsibility. We must have the courage to work together to save our community. It is not an easy task, but it is our mission. Each of us has a task to perform. This is the challenge facing us. We are not inconsequential. We can make a difference. Our mission is to perform kindness, to show love, to ease pain, to heal the brokenhearted and the broken lives, and to help and to mend.
What I'd like to do is simply share a parable, perhaps to set a tone and a direction for us. One of the things that really touched my heart, Reverend Brown said that these children need somebody to love them. And a number of years ago, I gave a sermon in my congregation in West Hartford, and I pointed out to the congregation, you may not recognize it, but we live in gated communities. Those gates may not be of iron, but they are there. And we must tear down the gates between our communities. People who sleep snugly in suburban communities should only sleep well when parents everywhere in our state sleep well.
Good afternoon. It's good to see everybody here. I don't know where to start because we have a lot of history. I've been doing this since 78. Magnificent 20s, Latin Kings, Los Litos, Crip and Blood in L.A., in D.C., in Philly. So We know what works and why it works, and we know what's not working. What I can tell you is this, and I'm going to be brief. 20%, 60%, 20%. 20% going to do drive-bys, sell drugs. I don't care what you say or what you do. Another 20% over here going to go to school, trying to get to college, working, trying to get a job. That's 60% in the middle. Which way are they leaning? Right now, when we look at the community, that 60% is leaning towards the negative. They're leaning this way. And what we're saying is, how do we get them to lean in the positive? We're going to go at all of them. But the reality is, we're not going to get them. Some kids don't think fat meat is greasy, and they keep eating it. So there's a historically, what we call hood history. What happened to the Los Litos? What happened to the Latin Kings when the federal government rolled in? They know nothing about that history. So what we're trying to do, our support as an institute, is how do you build the Carl Hodricks? How do you build the Andrew Woods? How do you build? Who are you training coming from behind? 90% of the homicides, I know this for a fact, that most kids know who's going to shoot, why they're going to shoot, but they don't know who to turn to because they don't appear to be a snitch. We have kids with, mental illness. You know, when a kid stand over somebody and shoots somebody 70 times, you know, something wrong. 70 times. So other kids figure, I got to get a gun too. So the question is, the resources that we're building at the Institute is, how do we keep that 60% to pull them down to the positive and train those individuals? And how do we start a bench? I can go for 2 days, and I won't do that. But I just want to let you know, look up the Institute, the BC Brother Kyle Institute, and see what we're doing. We need your support.
I'm just here to tell you what I've seen. I've been doing this for 22 years. I've seen over 450 families lose loved ones, lose their loved ones. Nothing changed. We've seen kids walking through yellow tape, walking through blood, stepping over dead bodies. No concern about these kids dying. I hit an all-time low last year when a 3-year-old kid was killed. 3-year-old baby. 3 years. Nobody claimed and showed support in this urban community for that 3-year-old baby. Mal Bronin came, but where was Blumenthal, the governor, everybody else? But other people died in other communities, they're everywhere. You see them, they talk about it. Our people die all the time, and not a whimper. Not a whimper. Lower the flags. If ever there was a time to lower flag for people in the community, it was done that time that 3-year-old baby lost his life. Our innocent baby had nothing to do with nothing. Sat in a bike seat of a car because he told his mother he wanted a popsicle. And the baby's dead now. Picture of a 3-year-old baby. And we talk about changing. We got to get the drugs out of our community first. Then the guns got to go. Then you got to give these people hope to live again. Because they don't have any hope in these urban communities. There's no hope. How you want a child to go to school when he go to school hungry? How you want a kid to go to school hungry? He go to school angry. Because he don't have the necessity to go through school, to want to learn. The only way to school, he encounter people that's out on the corner selling drugs so he can make $1. You could be a lookout. I'll give you $5 to be a lookout. That $5 turned into $500, then that $500 turned into $5,000, and then he lost his way. No hope. You want to change something? Give the people in the urban community hope. Don't talk about them. Help them. Government don't change everything. People going to jail. Look at the marijuana sale. They sent so many people, black and brown people, to jail for marijuana, then they turn around and legalize it. I make a profit. Now, who is selling drugs? Who's a drug dealer now?
In reference to the guns, we see how they treated drug dealers, but we have seen a very compassionate hand to the gun dealers. Now the question is, why are they so soft with these gun dealers? And if we have this meeting today and we don't have this real conversation, then we're all fooling ourselves. We cannot have our heads in the sand. Why are they being so soft and they're being confused when it comes to dealing with gun dealers? Because that's the root of the problem, right? Where are these kids getting these guns? Am I right, Reverend Brown? You stopped there, though. And I said you got to go a little further. Why aren't there pictures on the screen? Why aren't we identifying where they manufacture these guns? Why aren't we swooping in on them? Why aren't we taking them and their families to court? What's the problem here? Where's the confusion at now? You saw the movie The Enemy of the State when Will Smith and they had all the different technology that they could swoop in and listen to people and wiretaps and all these different things. Why aren't they doing that with the gun dealers? Ask the governor that. Ask the mayors that. Ask the board of police commissions that. Ask the state police, why aren't they going after the gun dealers? We as the black community, as leaders, are ineffective if we do not address the real issue of why they're not going after them. We collectively have to come together and demand that they go after the real criminals that are bringing these guns to these children. We don't manufacture drugs and we don't manufacture guns, so where are they coming from? And why haven't they identified the individuals that are bringing them to our communities? That's the issue. And we can't play games anymore. Now, let's talk about Hartford. And I'm going to have my seat. And I applaud everyone that's doing the work. That's not the issue. This is not your fault. You are doing a great thing with no resources. And you deserve more resources. But let's get to the root of how bad Hartford really is. And why is it so bad? Chicago, a city of 3 million people, had 695 murders last year. 3 million people. Hartford has 150,000. I'm giving y'all a couple extra, round off numbers. And you all had close to 40 murders. So you would be worse than Chicago in reference to the murder rate.
Again, the idea of doing this together, no matter what faith, what color, what anything, we are all in this together. A couple other people to thank for being here today, and a couple as emissaries, and that's Connor Quinn, you've heard his name, also representing Congressman Larson's office, and Christina Baldwin is representing Mayor Bronin today, and Jay Williams is here representing, he's the president of the Hartford Foundation for Giving. So Jay, thank you so much for being here today.
First and foremost, I want to extend our heartfelt thank you to Tim Baker, who has helped us to take the lead in terms of bringing everyone together here. He is our planner. Also, as you have been blessed with Paul Pendergrass, I'm not sure where he went, and my father, Archbishop, and Brother Curtis Robinson. Your collaboration and contribution has been invaluable in making this event a reality. As we reflect on today's success, let us remember that this is not a one-time event, but rather the beginning of an ongoing effort to stop street violence in our cities.
Out and about with Jerry Williams at the First Cathedral. Archbishop, want to thank you for calling this gathering. What took place today?
What took place was we had the key leaders, Carl Hodrick, Brother Andrew Wood, as well as Reverend Henry Brown, who are leading in efforts to stop the violence. Mothers against the killings and those of others who are trying to intervene to prevent young people from killing each other and from selling drugs and from selling death. And to have community leaders as well as others who are business leaders who have come in to make suggestions to us on how we can intervene, one of which is to have certain kind of festivals, to invite people in with whom these young people respect and with whom they spend much of their time looking at on television and other forms of media, including social media, with whom they have the respect for, trying to get them to come in and to tell these young people there's a better way.
Amen. I thank you for your efforts. May God continue to be with you as all that you do as unto the Lord.
Thank you, sir. God bless you, too. And also, if you have any influence, at all with some of these special people who have these giftings, they act like they love the community, see if they will come and speak to our children.
If you would like more information about what you heard today, call WIHS 860-346-1049, 860-346-1049. The opinions expressed are those of the participants, not necessarily of those of the staff or management of the station. I'm Jerry Williams for the WIHS Journal. It's news and public affairs.